Now, former President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle have finally endorsed Kamala Harris to replace Joe Biden as the Democratic candidate for the US election. And let's see how it was announced.
Kamala!
Hello. Hi.
Hey there!
Oh, hi, you're both together. Oh, it's good to hear you both.
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh, my goodness. Michelle, Barack, this means so much to me. I am looking forward to doing this with the two of you, Doug and I both, and getting out there, being on the road. But most of all, I just want to tell you the words you have spoken and the friendship that you have given over all these years mean more than I can express. So thank you both. It means so much. And we're going to have some fun with this too, aren't we?
What a great stroke of fortune that somebody was on hand to film it. Now, joining me now is the US and international politics professor, Scott Lucas. Scott, welcome to the show. Always a pleasure. So they took their time, but the anointment came finally from Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. How significant do you think that is?
Significant, but it's all part of what has been a significant process since Sunday. And trust me, the Obamas were going to endorse Kamala Harris. This just simply was set up to be the end of this. So you move from Joe Biden dropping out and endorsing Kamala Harris, other heavyweight Democrats from the center of the party to progressives endorsing, other potential challengers stepping aside and endorsing Harris. And then you build up all the way through Nancy Pelosi, former House Speaker, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, and then the Obamas, because the Democrats have got a double message here. And it's a double message of unity, unity within the party, and then unity for America, that America needs to unify given the threat to democracy that Donald Trump represents in November.
And Scott, the Obamas have endorsed Kamala Harris. The Clintons have endorsed Kamala Harris. She's even got the soundtrack from Beyonce, the Freedom track. That's the same as in 2016. The same people backed Hillary Clinton then. Do you think, and they couldn't beat Donald Trump that time around, do you think there'll be a difference this time around, or will history repeat itself? The polling seems to favour Donald Trump still.
The polling's actually neck and neck. If you take, for example, the national polling, Joe Biden had dropped about 5-6 points behind Trump. The New York Times Siena poll that just came out, Harris is only 1 point behind. The latest swing state polls, in those 7 or 8 states we got to pay attention to, Harris is closing the gap rapidly. I mean, this race is a top-up to start off with. In terms of 2016, Kamala Harris isn't Hillary Clinton. And I think there's 3 things to watch out for here. The first is Kamala Harris is tough. She will push back, as we have already seen this week, against Trump's rhetoric. So Trump can't bully her like he literally stalked Hillary Clinton across the debate stage in 2016. Secondly, Hillary Clinton didn't poll well with certain groups in the states. That included women. Quite a few just didn't like her personality or approach. Kamala Harris does quite well with women voters, which leads to the third point. Kamala Harris is probably going to be able to get Democrats out who didn't vote in 2016. Women, youth, suburban voters. And a key here is she's a prosecutor running against a convicted felon. So this isn't 2016 when the Democrats lost. This isn't 2020 when the Democrats won. This is a race to be taken in terms of what is very different about it this time around.
But Scott, don't you think the voters you just rattled off there, they're already Democratic voters? Do you think Kamala Harris can really cut through, like in the Rust Belt, the working class voters, the swing state voters in those states where the Democrats have to win? They won't be wooed by her liberal politics, will they?
Well, first of all, I mean, you talk about a state like Pennsylvania, you take a state like Michigan and so on. You know, those states, in fact, have Democratic governments. So they've got white working classes, but they do also have Democrats who are at the highest parts of state government. So the idea that Kamala Harris is a liberal and all the white working class is conservative, that's more of a myth that's sort of thrown out there by the media. I think the big thing is this, that when the Democrats lost in 2016, and the difference from when they won in 2020, wasn't that Donald Trump surged necessarily amongst those white working class voters. It's that Democratic voters or independent voters sat on their hands. They didn't turn out for the Democrats. Key here is voter turnout. If Trump can turn out not just his base, but get undecided voters to vote for him, then he wins. If Kamala Harris gets those undecided voters in the center, plus Democrats who really didn't think Joe Biden was going to win, then she's going to take this race.
Fascinating stuff, as ever. Thank you very much for joining us, Scott Luker. It's always a pleasure to have your expertise.